Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Bucharest in Romania, or maybe I should say Bună ziua. So I'm really excited to be here. It's the first time for me in Romania. It's a really beautiful city. I'm really impressed so far with the architecture, the cultural atmosphere that they've got here. It's the beginning of September, so we're kind of coming towards the end of the summer, but it is very warm. Today is about 23 degrees, but yesterday it was much hotter than that. So I'm staying relatively close to the old town in an area called Sector 1, and I managed to find a really good hotel, which has been excellent so far. And today I just want to do a little bit of sightseeing, get to know the city a bit more. It's a country that I've wanted to visit for a long time, so it's great to finally be here. Do join me. I'm really excited to be sharing this fantastic city with you today. So right now I'm on the Piazza Romana, which means the Roman square. This is a big roundabout and thoroughfare for the city. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning, so as you can see there's quite a lot of traffic, quite a lot going on. It's quite a big city, Bucharest. The metropolitan area has a population of about 2 million people. It's the biggest city in Romania and it's been its capital since 1862. It's great being in Eastern Europe. It's not a part of the world that I know very well. From what I can gather, Bucharest, despite being a big city, isn't kind of as bustling as other places that I've been in Europe, like Rome or Madrid or anything like that. It kind of has the same size, but not quite as busy. The language is very interesting. I don't speak Romanian, but I can just say a few words, which is always useful when it comes to icebreakers and things like that. It's a Romance language, but with a lot of Slavic influences. So I'm now walking down one of the main boulevards that comes off the Roman square. So cities that remind me of Bucharest include Budapest in Hungary and also Paris, because a lot of the buildings are built in a Parisian style, sort of Baron Haussmann style. From what I can gather, there's a big connection between Romania and France, so that goes back a long way in history. But like every big city, it does have its own unique atmosphere, its own unique vibe. There are some bits of the city that are kind of dilapidated and a bit run down, but again, that's all just part of the atmosphere of the city itself. There's also a lot of construction work going on to renovate and rebuild as well. So let's just have a quick look to see what the underground stations look like. I'm not planning to get the underground right now, but I just want to have a bit of a look, a bit of a nosy at the underground stations here. So another interesting feature of the architecture here in Bucharest is these kind of communist style buildings. You can see that contrasted to this building here, which looks very Parisian, very classic. And that's because Romania was a communist country for many years after the war until 1989, when the Berlin Wall came down. So that's just another layer of character to the city. So it's actually started to rain, so I might take this opportunity to get a coffee and go inside. Hopefully the rain won't last long or get any heavier. I've actually been really impressed by the amount of people who speak English, at least here in Bucharest. It's been really, impressive. And I was speaking to one of my Romanian friends yesterday when we were doing some sightseeing, and she said in the past everybody used to learn Russian at school, but since the Berlin Wall came down in '89, everybody learns English at school, and that's very much the first foreign language. The second foreign language that people speak is French, and apparently a lot of people speak French as well in this country, and that's because of the kind of cultural connections that exist between Romania and France, which are still very strong today, apparently. Yeah, it's good to be able to say a few words like Bună ziua, merci, which is thank you, Bună seara, which is good evening, and that kind of thing. I just had a quick look on my phone at the conversion rates. I found out that 20 lei is £3.40 for my large latte. So that's roughly what you would pay in the UK, kind of outside of London, for a similar beverage. On the whole, I found Bucharest to be a relatively reasonable city. It's not in the same league as Paris or Rome or even Madrid. It's a bit cheaper than that, and it does help having the lei because it means that it's a relatively favourable conversion rate from pounds at least. The rain has kind of stopped. Now I'm going to take a walk down to the old town or the historic centre of Bucharest to see what's going on there. So I've just spotted this interesting sculpture here. This is of somebody called George Enescu, and from my very basic Romanian, I think he's an author and a writer. So Uber does work very well here in Bucharest and is quite a reasonable way of getting around, but also walking is good as you get to see more. It is quite a big city actually, so the distances you walk are quite long, but it is a good way of kind of soaking up the vibe of the city, and it's something that I like doing when I'm traveling. I don't know if you can see this building here, but this is actually being renovated and refurbished. This is something you see a lot in Bucharest, these older buildings getting redone. So these are probably from the communist era, and they're now being kind of modernized into a more modern style. So here you can see another massive old building that's getting renovated. It looks completely empty and derelict, but yeah, I'm sure it'll be redone soon and looking modern again. So like a lot of European capital cities, Bucharest is a really interesting mix of the old and the new. The old being modernized in stages gradually as time goes on. So I like the fact that they have a lot of trees lining the avenues and boulevards here in Bucharest. It gives the city a really nice green and natural feeling. Yeah, and it makes you feel just a little bit closer to nature, which is always good because it makes you feel a bit calmer, a bit more relaxed. So we've got a very stylish little church right in the middle of the boulevard here with a brick facade, and we've got a tower on the left hand side as well. So I've just crossed the road and I'm going to have a quick look inside this church. Chiesa Italiana, proprietà dello Stato Italiano. So this is actually the Italian church of Bucharest, and it's owned by the Italian state. So I'm guessing it's a Catholic church in that case. So let's have a very quick look inside. Very beautiful church. Yeah, fantastic church. You can see the organ there. Got some stained glass windows from Rome, Repubblica Italiana. Yeah, fantastic small church here, just off this large boulevard. This is a historic monument and was built in 1915 to 1916. Most Holy Redeemer Italian church, built in the Lombard Renaissance style. Very cool church there. Really enjoyed having a look inside. Very peaceful. Very interesting piece of sculpture here off the boulevard. It doesn't say exactly what it is, or at least not in English. It looks like there's a bit of poetry at the bottom. And round the side you've got this semicircle that looks like kind of bullet cartridges. Really fascinating little monument here. Looks like an explosion's taken place inside the column. So we've got another underground station entrance here. This one's called Universitate, which I'm guessing means university. And it also looks like the Smurfs' new film is out now in Romania. And in Romania they call the Smurfs Strumfii. Here we've got the Midnight Massage Club. Not open yet. So I'm now on the 21st of December 1989 square. I'm assuming this is to celebrate the end of communism in Romania. Yeah, so very beautiful little square, and there's a nice breeze coming off the fountain as well. Lots of pigeons having a drink and having a wash in the fountain. Like I said, I do really enjoy having all these trees around the city centre. It gives such a nice atmosphere, and I can imagine in the height of summer as well, it does reduce the heat in the city. So that's just a really nice feature of Bucharest that I've noticed. So I'm actually at the end of this boulevard, and I've reached this enormous roundabout. Right in the centre of the roundabout there's another monument, and this is to someone called Constantin Bratianu. Yeah, there's also a massive theatre on the other side of this boulevard. I don't know if it's a national theatre or something like that, but it's quite a modern building with some interesting sculptures on the outside. So I've just turned off the main square, the big roundabout I was on before, and this huge street just opened up. I asked somebody and they said this was the University Square with all of these fantastic Parisian buildings, but also these sculptures and monuments as well. So on the other side you can see the University of Bucharest. It's actually getting renovated at the moment, that's why the facade is actually covered. Fantastically beautiful square, very much in the kind of Parisian style that you see a lot here in Bucharest, and got some more renovations going on this old building as well. Yeah, so just a really beautiful spot in the city. So Bucharest is a fantastic city to walk around because it does have a lot of these fantastic old buildings which create quite a historic, culturally interesting atmosphere, and you can quite easily stumble across some really beautiful tucked away architecture like this. So I just asked a tour guide who was coming out of this building what it was, and he told me that it's the Russian church in Bucharest, so it must be Russian Orthodox. Right, let's have a look inside here. Very beautiful. Wow, fantastic. Can see right up to the top and the dome. Wow, beautiful little church. Wow, that was very cool. And they've got this little garden here as well. Or kind of, yeah, a yard. Let's have a look. Wow, incredibly beautiful building. Look at those golden domes at the top. Very cool. So this is one of the nice things about exploring a city that you've never been to before. You get the opportunity to find little hidden gems like this that you weren't looking out for. Yeah, it's interesting. I think Bucharest has got quite an interesting history. I know that there is also a large Turkish community in this city, and there are strong connections to Turkey here as well. It's just fascinating that they've got all this kind of variety of different churches and religions. I know that the main religion here in Romania is kind of Orthodox, which is related to Greek Orthodox, but I think they have their own kind of Romanian Orthodox church here. So yeah, this is just a fantastic little beautiful spot. So I think I'm now in the old town. There are lots of beautiful buildings, very elegant sort of hotels, coffee shops, and embassies and that kind of thing. Really beautiful, kind of elegant part of Bucharest here. So here we've got what looks like a French restaurant called Le Dôme in this fantastic old building. And we're on Strada Dormane. And just to the other side, we've got this building here, which is the Banca Națională a României, which I think is the National Bank of Romania building. Yeah, so very impressive architecture, very stylish, very imposing. The plaque said that this building was actually completed in 1890. There's actually quite a few walking tour groups in this part of the city, so this must suggest that this is a place of touristic interest. I just went past a cafe called Cafe Van Gogh, so that sounds like it's been set up for the tourist trade as well. And we've got a professional photography session going on here, so this is obviously a bit of a hot spot. Yep, so this is the other side of the National Bank of Romania. Very cool Greek building, or Greek looking building. Yeah, and I think this is also a museum inside. History of the bank, maybe. It's very smooth and clean looking. Probably had a renovation. Yeah, so very calm, tranquil atmosphere here in the historic centre of Bucharest. Very relaxed, not too busy, which is good. And we've got another monument here, this time for someone called Eugeniu Carada, who died in 1910. And we're now on the Strada Lipscani. So Lipscani is quite a famous, part of Bucharest. You hear a lot about it. So there's definitely a kind of shabby chic atmosphere to Bucharest. A lot of those buildings are a bit dilapidated, but I imagine they're due to be refurbished. It's a similar atmosphere in Budapest, actually. It's the same kind of thing. Although I think Budapest is actually a bit busier than Bucharest is, from what I remember. So once you get into the old town, there are historic monuments, buildings, museums, churches all over the place, pretty much on every corner. So yeah, really beautiful area and definitely worth checking out if you come to the city. So here we got another really beautiful little church. And yeah, I'm going to have a quick look inside, see what it's like. So this church is called Birth of the Virgin Mary. And this is another historic monument of the city. This looks like an Orthodox church to me. Fantastic chandelier right in the centre. Wow, extremely beautiful little chapel here. Got another fantastic neoclassical looking building here. I think this is literally just a bank, headquarters CEC Bank. And I don't know if you can see on the top, but they've got this beautiful glass dome as well. Yeah, so another beautiful building right in the centre of the old city. This building here is the National Museum of History of Romania, if my Romanian skills serve me well. Wow, that does look very cool. Must be one of the main museums in the city. So I'm now walking down the Stavropolius street in the old town. Again, this is one of the most famous streets in the city. Very popular with tourists, I think. And just to the left is a very traditional Romanian restaurant. You can see this fantastic building here. Yeah, so this is called Caro cu Bere. I was actually lucky enough to go here yesterday for lunch, and I can confirm that the food is very good and very interesting atmosphere and that kind of thing. So we're now coming up to the Stavropolius Monastery, and this is actually number one on TripAdvisor for the places to visit in central Bucharest. I learned from my Romanian friend yesterday that this is still a functioning monastery with monks working here and praying here. And this is to actually represent the Greek Orthodox community in the city. So we've done Italian, Russian, and now we're doing Greek. So let's have a quick look inside. Wow, this looks ancient. Bună ziua! Quite a small monastery building here. Fantastic murals on the interior. Wow, very beautiful. Merci. Now going down to the kind of courtyard area of the monastery. You can see the outside of the chapel here. Yeah, the courtyard's got a very calm, relaxed atmosphere, very tranquil, very beautiful spot. The precinct and lapidarium is from 1904. I imagine the chapel is older than that. Wow, fantastic. Yep, so you can get a really good view onto the courtyard here and onto the chapel. Got these large engraved sort of slabs of rock here. They look like headstones or something. Very elegant building that's been well preserved. Let's see. Wow, that was fantastic. This tells us that it's from 1724. St. Archangels Michael and Gabriel Stavropolius Monastery Church, post-Brankoven style, founded by the Greek Archimandrite. So there you go. Very beautiful monastery on a very elegant street here in the historic centre. So just coming towards the end of Stavropolius Street.